Hey everyone, I'm Teddy, and today I'm going to show you guys how I used AI to design and build this landing page for YouTube in under 30 minutes. Let's get to it. So just to reiterate, our goal is to create a mini landing page for YouTube. We're going to be using YouTube as the example product to help guide our design, both in terms of aesthetic and feature set. So I'm here on the Magic Patterns dashboard, and the first thing we need to do is write an initial prompt. There's a couple of different ways we can go about writing an initial prompt, and it kind of depends on what our goal here is. Because we don't already have a design in mind, I'm going to write a pretty general prompt that's more so describing the product. And the reason why that's totally okay is because we can iterate on it in the actual editor itself. So let me go ahead and write a quick prompt here. So I wrote this pretty brief prompt here. Let me break it down really quickly. So something to point out is that you'll notice that I specified just the landing page hero section, aka just that initial screen that you usually see when you open up a website. The reason why I only specified the hero section instead of having it generate a full landing page is the AI will generally do better for smaller changes, and I want to keep the design relatively small as we kind of fine-tune things, and then we can go section by section. This way we can try to keep the design as focused as possible, and we can make more precise edits, and it'll be a more iterative process. The other thing I want to quickly flag is you'll notice that I spend a decent amount of time talking about features and the goal of the website. This is just context that I think helps the AI kind of understand what your goal is, and it'll pick design patterns that will match your goal. So let's go ahead and generate this design and see what happens. Alright, so this is the initial design that we got back. It's pretty creative and it's a great starting point. So the first thing I'm actually going to do here is actually try to fit YouTube's theme onto this design. So obviously YouTube has that signature red color that we don't see anywhere here. I want to make that red color the primary color here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is find YouTube's hex color and include that in the prompt. So let's go ahead and do that. So I went ahead and grabbed YouTube's hex color here. And so let's go ahead and ask it to make that the primary color. And the other thing I want to quickly specify actually is I don't love that it's dark mode. Maybe you guys watch YouTube in dark mode, but at least I feel for the landing page, let's make it light mode. So I'm also going to go ahead and mention that. Now, the reason why I'm setting the theme and stuff so early is because it's really important to set the foundations for your design. By setting the colors this early, it'll basically inform the AI that, hey, like these are my colors, here's what I'm building. Please try to maintain these as we build further. Awesome. So it went ahead and used these colors. And so this actually looks like, YouTube's theme. So I'm noticing here that the videos in the background are pretty faded out, and that doesn't look so great. Something that I love doing is using the polish command. So if you actually hit backslash on your keyboard, this commands menu will pop up, and we can go ahead and select polish here and ask it, the video grid in the background is quite faded. I can barely see it. Please improve. Okay, awesome. So this is what the polish command gave back to us. I love that it actually went ahead and added this scroll, this marquee in the background. That looks really cool. We can see the images a little bit better. It's still a little bit faded, but I imagine that the AI is doing this to help keep the contrast of this hero section. So the next thing I want to do here is I feel like this part is like this main hero part is kind of boring. It's just plain black text. I want to make it a little bit more engaging. So to improve this, I'm going to go ahead and use another one of the commands. This time, I'm going to use the inspiration command. What the inspiration command does is it'll generate 4 guaranteed unique variations of an idea. It's amazing in this use case here where I don't fully know what I want, so I'm going to have the AI help me ideate. So let me quickly write a prompt here. So the prompt I ended up using here is just make the content above the video grid more interesting and professional looking. Just a quick prompting tip. I've typically found that, tossing in the word professional actually ends up improving things a lot. So that's like one of my favorite words to use when prompting. So as you can see here, it's going to go ahead and generate 4 different variations here. And I'll be right back once those finish. All right, so we got our inspiration back, and I can already tell that I'm loving these ideas. So this first one here kind of looked like it, added some color to the text here. Did this pretty cool pill effect on the words creators and viewers. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else it did. So this is a pretty cool version. It looks like it's doing a split screen design. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. What else we got here? Oh, nice. Okay, so it looks like we have the part that's highlighting story and video. I do like that. And then finally here, we have a version that, okay, this is pretty interesting. So it looks like it's a typewriter effect It looks like it's slightly buggy here, but conceptually it's pretty neat. I think amongst these, obviously depends on your taste here. There's no right or wrong answer. Actually, give me a second here to think about this. It's a tough decision.
10 hours later.
All right, so after thinking and going back and forth a little bit, I think I decided that I want to use this one to continue iterating on. There's no right or wrong answer here, so it's purely a personal preference of what you like. The main reason I decided on this one is I kind of like that it has a little bit more information on it. Aesthetically, it looks a little bit more interesting, and I think it gives us more elements to work with. I do want to fix it up though, because things aren't super aligned. I don't necessarily love that it's like left and right. I think maybe if we just took some of these concepts and made it better, it would look a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the polish command again to really just clean it up, make sure things are aligned, and fix up the layup a little bit. So here's the prompt that I went with. And again, I'm tossing in that word professional because, why not? All right, so after that polish command, here's what we're looking at. I'm already loving it. It actually incorporated a few other things from some of the other inspiration, which I think is cool after this polish. It's definitely got a little bit of noise to it, but that's okay. We can continue iterating here. I think in terms of content, one of the bigger updates I want to make is actually swapping this little piece out here with these 3 different tags. I think I want to swap it out for some sort of social proof. So to quickly make this change, I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this section because I think I want the social proof to go underneath the call to action buttons here. And I can actually really easily delete these using edit mode. So by heading into edit mode, I'll basically be able to select like a component here. And I can actually just go ahead and click delete here. And this will basically not have to use AI, so it'll be fast, it'll be deterministic, and it won't cost me a credit. All right, awesome. So now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and ask it to add some social proof. I can, honestly, I can leave the prompt at just this and it'll probably do fine. But generally speaking, I think it's better to be as specific as you can, especially if you already have something in your mind that you want the AI to go for. I'm already kind of envisioning like a row of avatar faces. So I'm gonna go ahead and also specify. This is the prompt that I ended up going with. I specified a little bit more of what was already in my head, in which case I was envisioning, when you see that row of avatars that are slightly stacked on top of each other, as well as some sort of star rating. So we're gonna go ahead and see what this does and go from there. All right, so this is what we got back. The social proof section looks fantastic. It didn't quite put it where I wanted to put it, but that's honestly on me. I didn't specify in my prompt that I wanted it under the buttons. So let's go ahead and just ask it to do that. So I think this is a prime example here of why it pays to be specific. At the end of the day, the AI only knows what you specify. So it's important to be as specific as you can. So it looks like it did what we wanted to, put the social proof here at the bottom, and it looks pretty dang good. The last thing I want to do here is get it so that, these images in the background kind of appear more. They're still kind of hidden around. You can't really make out what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and ask AI to try to make these images more displayed. I can tell that they're kind of faded. So let's see what AI can do here. So this is the prompt that I ended up going with. As you can see, I actually kind of gave it an idea of like, hey, I think it would be really cool if, the images towards the side of the screen, like towards the edges, were less faded. I think the main reason why the AI faded it so much is so that the main content has good contrast with the background and makes it really easy to read. Whoa, dang, okay, this is really cool. It looks like it took my idea and actually implemented it, so this is looking fantastic. All right, I'm honestly very happy with this hero section. So let's go ahead and create our next section here. For this next section, I'm actually thinking of creating kind of like a recommended or trending video section. That way the user is encouraged to go watch something. The amazing thing is because we've already put in all this groundwork of what our app should look like, kind of the general aesthetic preferences we have, we can go ahead and give it a pretty lenient prompt and it should still do pretty well. Here's what it came back with. This is looking like honestly really, really good. You'll see that it kept up with my primary color here via this red view all button. Oh yeah, look, it's even added hover effects, added the content creator, the views, and all just from this basic prompt because it already has context of what we're working on. So one thing I'm noticing is this image right here is actually an invalid image. As you can see, nothing loaded. That's mainly because the AI can't actually generate images. It does its best to find a valid image on the internet. As you can imagine, images on the internet are kind of fickle, so it might not always find a valid image. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually just going to give it an image in this chat here. So I'm going to drag and drop an image in. You can also click this button here to attach an image, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell it, please use this image as the thumbnail for the digital art creation time-lapse thumbnail video. So this is probably the technique I would recommend if a valid image is really important for you. This is a fail-safe way to get your image into a design. All right, awesome. That did the trick. I got my image in here. Something that could be done is let's maybe add arrows on the side to kind of scroll through. So maybe let's prompt for that. Something I do want to flag really quickly, it's really important here, is in each of your prompts, and especially as your design gets bigger and bigger, is that you really need to specify where you want your updates to happen. It tends to work pretty well if you find some sort of unique text so that the AI kind of associates things well. So I saw that this section is obviously called trending now, so I mentioned the words trending now. It didn't quite do what I was hoping. It did implement this, which is really cool, but I did like the grid instead. So something I'm actually going to try really quickly is using our retry function. This basically gives you a reroll of what the AI did, since there's inherently a little bit of randomness. Okay, so after this retry, it looks like it still didn't do it, unfortunately. Came up with the same design as before, and that's totally okay. Again, I wasn't specific enough with my prompt, and I can't really blame the AI. I can only blame myself. So what I'm going to do now is, because I think it's kind of heading in the wrong direction, I'm actually going to go back to my old design here, and I can do that by just clicking on this old design here. So we're back to this grid design, and I'm going to prompt it from here. Basically, the way you can think about it is whatever you see on this left hand side here on this render, and whatever you prompt it is going to be hitting that what you see. All right, awesome. So with this updated prompt, it looks like that did the trick. Once again, being specific pays off dividends. So let's move on to the last section here of our mini landing page. I'm thinking that we add in a pricing section. I know that YouTube is inherently free, but they do also love upselling YouTube Premium, I think it's called. Just like before when we added the trending now section, we thankfully don't need to be too specific. We can go ahead and prompt it with kind of more the general requirements / description of what we want to add. Okay, so here's the generic prompt that I wrote. I don't actually know if YouTube Premium is $10 a month, but let's say that it is. And again, you'll see that I kind of just described what I want in terms of the section, less so the aesthetics and designs, but more the product requirements. And that should be enough to get it going, and then we can iterate on it as we see fit. All right, so this is the section that I came up with. It's honestly really good. So you'll see that it initially, right off the bat, even without me prompting it, copied our theme. It's got that awesome red. It's something small, but you'll see that the buttons that it's using in terms of border radius, it's using the same exact border radius so that it's very consistent. Even on these badges, it's using the same border radius. And I think that's a small detail that's really important that helps create consistency in the design. I'm looking at this. I don't have a whole lot of feedback for it because this is looking pretty amazing. It's described the features. It's got this awesome CTA. A very minor nit that I'm noticing is that this component isn't quite aligned here. So something I might do here is I might hop into edit mode, go ahead and select this and try to update it. So this feature here is really amazing for making more targeted edits. Basically lets the AI know exactly the component you're talking about, so there's never ever confusion. Okay, cool. So it looks like this is a little bit more aligned. I like it. Yeah, the other thing that I don't love is that there's a badge on the top and bottom. This is super nit at this point, but hey, we want to make the details matter. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it to remove this section and put that content here instead. Okay, awesome. So it removed that bottom pill. It didn't quite replace the premium content with just join 50,000 members, but honestly, I'm totally cool with this. I actually kind of like it. I like the crown. So this is looking fantastic. I love it. The last thing I'm going to add here is a footer, just because I think it looks weird without a footer. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it to do a footer. Sweet, and this is the awesome footer that it added. You can see it's still keeping our theme. So it's really cool to me that all the work that we put in while we were working on this hero section to, get the aesthetic right, to get the colors right, really makes it easy for us to add new components. To add this footer, all I had to do was prompt it add a footer, and boom, it's already understanding our colors. It understands the context of the company. It does things like premium, creator studio, stuff like that. It's amazing. So obviously there's a whole lot more content we can add to this, but using this process that I've kind of outlined here should make it pretty easy to continue adding new sections here. For a mini landing page that we've done in 30 minutes, this is pretty dang good in my opinion. So from here, we can either use this as a design, we can send it, to our developer for them to implement. We can actually export this directly to code. We can sync it to GitHub. We can export it to Figma. It's really on you on what you want to do. I'll leave a link to this design in the description so you guys can fork it. You guys can work off of it if you want to. I'll also share a link to the live site since I think this is pretty cool. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on how to design a mini landing page using AI. I plan on making a lot more of these videos, so if you have any ideas on what you want me to design or build, could literally be anything, doesn't have to be a landing page. So that's going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys next time, and happy prompting.